appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast today. I've listened to your podcast for quite a while. It's one of the ones that I do enjoy because you guys kind of do like a mix of like bodybuilding and but also bullshitting, and it's like it's real. Like it reminds me of a like Fit Nation podcast to where it's a little more. It feels like you're sitting around like a campfire. That's kind of like the reference I've made on here a couple of times. Is like you want to make it feel this like guys are like just hanging out, and it's not like super scripted. Like some people you can tell like their podcast is really like scripted or just comes off fake. But whenever you have, kind of got like the group that you guys have going is just super like locker room talk. So I really like that. I think that's why people are kind of drawn to your podcast. But just getting into a little bit of who you are, because I think most of my demographic is going to know who you are from your podcast. But just give us like a little bit of your background on who you are, your upbringing, and what got you into the sport of bodybuilding or sport of
Yeah.
bodybuilding.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate that, man. So yeah, my name in the thing, Mike Von Rotz. The gym started in high school for me, but it was like for basketball, right? And for females, like I wanted to get a little more jacked, like most people do, to get the women. And so I started like junior year in high school, and then I played basketball in high school, prep school, and in college. And it kind of like fizzled out in college. It was like I got recruited to like a D1 program, then dropped down to a D2 program, and then eventually dropped down to a D3 program. And it just kind of like fizzled out. And once that happened, I had like a year where life was just kind of, am I allowed to cuss on here? Does that matter?
Yeah, you're good.
I was just kind of like
Yeah,
bullshitting around, and I kind of got unhealthy and a little overweight. And I remember what like triggered it is my girlfriend at the time. When I got with her, I was like in very good shape. I was like running track and playing basketball, and I had like a good six pack. And I went to her and I was like, hey, like, do I still like look good, like attractive? And she's like, oh, I still love you, but like, yeah, you look a little different. And that alone, I was like, that day I went out and I ran like 3 miles. I got on bodybuilding.com and just got like Jay Cutler's like 3-month shred or something like that, and just followed it. And I got pretty dang lean on my own. And then somebody at the gym was like, you ever thought about doing a competition? There's one this fall. And I was like, not really, but if you say I don't have to do much from where I am now, like I'll try it. So I dieted for it, and it was a natural show. And I won novice and came second in like the height class that I was in, and I was like hooked from there. And I messed around in like the natural realm for a little bit, and then in 2016 I jumped into the NPC, and here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome. But how many shows did it take for you? Like, what was your trajectory from that first show that you did until you turned pro?
So I won't count like the natural shows. I only did 2 natural shows. So I started in the NPC in 2016. So I did that Cutler. Then I did the Rhode Island, and I won the overall at the Rhode Island. And I went to my first national show and got my teeth kicked in. I came back and I went and did the Pittsburgh Amateur and got second in heavyweights there. And then I went to nationals in 2021 and placed a little bit better, just like the first person outside of first call outs. And then I came back and I went and won the Connecticut Grand Prix. Yeah, won the Connecticut Grand Prix. And then went to Universe in 24 and turned pro there. So how many other shows that was? 3 national shows to turn pro. Yeah.
So you just slowly worked your way up. That's just,
for sure
the natural process. I think a lot of guys are getting that kind of miss now. Like, with social media, it's just like the 2-show pro. I know you guys mention that shit a lot, but it's like, it's I think guys would benefit a lot more if they would kind of aim for like, or be more realistic but then realize that like when you do go through a process like you did, or like another example I think of is like Ron Partlow, who kind of had to go through like second place like so many times to get that pro card. That's going to mean a lot more to someone in the end than if they are like the Antons of the world that are 21 and like a fucking Olympian. So it's like, just having that perspective, like this may take a long time for a lot of guys. And for most guys, it is, if you last long enough in the sport, it is going to take 5 to 10 years. Like that stretch you just said was what, 2016 was your first show or whatever, then 2024.
8-year stretch.
8 years,
yeah.
I
was gonna say, I love the Ron Partlow story. He's one of my favorite like come up stories to the pro ranks, because his story is so real, right? Like, for 99% of us, we're not turning pro after 2 shows. Like it's just not realistic. And there's nothing wrong with it taking time. Like bodybuilding's supposed to take time. It's not
Yeah.
supposed to be this instant gratification thing, at least in my mind, right? Like
That's
some
the
people
beauty
can
of
think
it, in my
different, but
opinion. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Because if you're given anything, like I tell myself this all the time, I tell guys this all the time, is like if you're I made this reference on a couple podcasts, but it's like if you have this goal of yours and like you don't and you actually enjoy your process or whatever you're doing, which hopefully if you get into this you are, if you have this goal of yours and like you have all this time in between that, that's just that much more time that you get to enjoy pursuing this one thing. Now if you're given the pro card, what do you do now? Most guys, a lot of guys that they talk about, get the pro card, then just kind of like
That's
don't
it.
do anything with it. Don't
Yeah.
do anything with it. So it's like, I don't know. It's like that, all the, like you said, like that's just the Ron Parlo story of just like it taking the time is like, that's such a beautiful thing. It just teaches you so much or whatever. But as far as your process goes and where you're at, what are your plans like competitively for you the next year, next 2 years or whatever?
Yeah, so I'm in the middle of an off season right now. I'm in a
Yeah.
health phase, just about to end that health phase and push back up. But the plan for next year is to do the new Dallas show that has Men's Open, the branch added Men's
Yeah.
Open to. So I'll
Nice.
do that. I plan on doing New York Pro next year as well, and then
Nice.
possibly a third show if budget allows, time allows.
Yeah.
So ideally, I'd like to hit 3 shows next year,
Hmm.
improve my placings. Can't go
Yeah.
much anywhere else but up
Yeah.
from my pro debut. So that's the goal.
What
I've had a
what was your pro
really
debut?
I did the Texas Pro last year
Okay,
and I
gotcha. Yeah,
placed
I
I
remember that.
placed
Yeah, yeah.
16th. There were like 30 something guys and it was
Well,
good.
that show was fucking crazy, anyways. So I
It
mean,
was. Everybody says
yeah,
stacked lineup, so I don't like to use that term because there are plenty of
yeah,
guys in there that I wouldn't, call it stacked. The top
yeah.
10 were very, very good. Below that, there's a bunch of second tier guys like myself at the
Hmm.
moment. And it was a great learning experience though, right? Like you get to
Of
stand next
course.
to guys and realize how big these guys are when you're standing on stage next to them.
Right. Yeah.
So
That
great
was something
experience.
that got brought to my attention. Sorry to cut you off with. My first coach was Justin Wyatt, and I remember meeting him in person for the first time. And like, I'm glad I had that experience because a lot of people will go through bodybuilding and not ever or like start and like not go to a show or not be around like an actual pro. And I remember going to my first natural show and then like him coming to the show and him walking in my room, and I was like,
Yeah.
what is that? So that I can't imagine being on stage with guys like that as well. But one thing I wanted to ask you was what was you do you get like judge feedback at your shows, or do you just like know what to work on?
Yeah, I mean, especially like in my first pro show, I really wanted to like
Hmm.
kind of,
Right. See what they
be
want.
around the judges, speak to the judges,
Hmm.
at least show my face so they can maybe,
Yeah.
if they remember me, put a name to it. And Bill
Hmm.
Sibilia said, the shape is fantastic, a little tighter in the glutes, but like just add a little more size to your frame.
Yeah.
So that was the
That's good.
feedback. That's what I ran with, and I think I competed at about 236. Judging by where I am right now, I think I'll probably be like 245 to 250 on stage next year. So
Okay,
that's
dude.
the
I'm gonna
goal for sure.
pull up some of your pictures. So that's kind of been what your goal for this off season has been, is just adding size basically everywhere. There's no
Just
like
adding
specific
size.
body. There's no specific like body part they said to add, or just they just said get bigger.
I personally just like more width to my back and a little more depth to my back. I mean,
Okay.
everything needs to come up. I'm not gonna say like nothing else need to change, but like as a personal
Hmm.
want and what I think would round out my physique a little bit better, definitely a heavy focus on my arms and back.
Hmm.
Those have
Okay.
always been just like a weaker point for me, and so
Hmm.
that's kind of been the personal focus. But overall, in totality, it's just bring up everything for sure.
Yeah. That's good. At least there's no like one. It's like one standout body part that you just like have that's lacking. It's just like get big everywhere. It's kind of a little more peace of mind than having like one thing that you want to grow that's just like being a big nag to you. But do you think that this far in your off season, like as far as you've gone, you happy with the progress you've made just overall so far?
100%. I did a like a
Awesome.
side by side, like probably in the peak of my spring push up, and compared to like what 285 looked like.
Isn't that on your Instagram?
It might be on my Instagram. I really don't post a lot on my Instagram, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
It's mostly
I
like
can't blame
fish.
you, bro.
For anybody who wants to follow me, is mostly fishing pictures. So
Yeah.
you really,
I'll have your Instagram in the
yeah.
description.
No, it's on there. It's June 17th.
June 17th.
Oh, I'm sorry, 270. What did I say? 285. I meant 275.
I see. Yeah, yeah. Let me pull this down here. Share. This one?
Yes,
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, that's definitely different. I could definitely see it in the midsection. Like the midsection's tighter.
for sure.
That's awesome, bro. Fuck yeah,
Um,
that's awesome, dude.
yeah, so that was like 275 at the beginning of prep for Texas last year. And then this is
Mm-hmm.
270, it's 275 just like as I was coming down like into the health phase
Mm-hmm.
at the end of this spring
Nice.
push.
Yeah,
So
that's definitely a big difference. But yeah, I think judges' feedback is right. It's just like your shape's really good. It's just like if you just improve everything at like a equal rate, it would just improve from like this to this. Like if you just improve everything, it would be the same thing. Like if you put these pictures on this side, it'd be the same like comparison there. So that's really good. That's fucking awesome, dude.
for sure.
You,
Appreciate it,
you look
man.
you look good, man.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
for sure. For sure, for sure. So one thing I wanted to get with you on is like community in bodybuilding and being from Maine, right? So me and you are both from states that are not like the most bodybuilding centric. I'm from Arkansas. No one here, Justin was the only guy that Justin, he left. He's in Texas now, so it's no one really. So like being in Maine, what's the scene of bodybuilding in Maine if there is any?
So for the honestly, no, you're right. Like for the longest
Yeah.
time, it was just the natty organizations, right? Like and they're very
Mm,
like cultish up here. The
they all
OCB.
are.
It's
They
just like a
all are.
weird, a
It's very
weird
weird.
cult.
Yeah.
And there were a few of us that like pushed into the MPC. And like honestly, if we're being real, my goal is representing this state. Like
Hmm.
I don't care about being the greatest bodybuilder. I care about pushing bodybuilding into the forefront for Maine. Like it's always been building a bodybuilding community at the gyms that I'm at,
Yeah.
seminars, helping the younger generation like be the best that they can be. And it,
Hmm.
it is growing here in Maine. We have a gym now, Jack and Jill, that I train at. That's very bodybuilding centric. The owner's all about helping people as much as they can be the best bodybuilder, power lifter they can be.
Nice.
We have an NPC show in Maine now.
Nice.
Has a great promoter, Gino. I
Mm.
guest posed there last year, and the podcast actually sponsors the show. So
Seriously, wow.
we're doing as much as we can to like just get bodybuilding out there, get people excited about it, and pull them out of this like weird little vacuum that they live in, that they only
Yeah.
understand bodybuilding as, the 70-year-old man who goes up there and dances to AC/DC on the stage. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's more to
Yeah.
bodybuilding than that.
Right.
So it's been a grind because, like I said, it's super dogmatic up here, and people are
Mm.
stuck in their ways. But I don't know. You knock enough, eventually somebody answers the door, and
Hmm.
it's changing. It takes a lot of work and it's taking a lot of time, but there's some
Yeah,
good
for
ones.
sure. That's the same thing in Arkansas. It's like, Arkansas is like, like the most obese state in the country. So that's kind of, and it being even worse, being I'm from the deep South Arkansas, so it's like no one here has any idea what like bodybuilding is. But like it is kind of ironic that the guy that owns my gym is an ex bodybuilder, but has like nothing to do with me. Like he's never said anything to me, and he's even been like kind of a dickhead towards like my whole journey. Like whenever I did my show last year, he was like, "Congrats, but how many people are actually in your class?" And I was like,
Damn,
I was like, bro, but
crazy.
he's kind of like messed up in the head. Like I don't mean to spill his business, but he's like been caught. Like he was drunk driving, ran into a church sign. So he's kind of crazy. I think he came up in like the 80s and 90s. So I think he kind of just like cooked his brain or whatever. So like I don't really let what he says get to my head or whatever. But it's the same thing in Arkansas. It's just the scene. There are some gyms in like northern Arkansas that are opening up that are pretty cool that have some like more of a bodybuilding centric vibe. But like just from where I'm at personally, I don't like to travel much. I don't know about you, but I stay where I'm at. And if I need to travel, I will. But like if push comes to shove, I will, but I don't really like to. But like at my gym, it's basically like a senior citizen home. But like what kind of advice would you give to someone that is like maybe stuck in a lesser good environment for bodybuilding? Like how do you like
Yeah.
formulate that in your head to still have like good training sessions and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, there's two ways to go with this, and I've done both of them, right? Like, there's the build your own environment, and I lived and breathed that one for forever. I mean,
Yeah.
wherever I was in the state, it was like the guys I train with, we're gonna build our own environment every time we come in there. We're gonna be aggressive, we're gonna be intense, we're gonna be nice to everybody, but like we're going to live in our own bubble. That gets exhausting though. I can't lie. That's when you go to a gym and there's no environment there, or the staff or the owner doesn't really, you're not on the same you're not connecting on the same level. It can be tough. So my
Mhm.
other piece of advice is, if you get burnt out with making your own environment, sometimes you got to drive, sometimes you got to
Yeah.
travel. So like Jack
Yeah.
and Jill, it's a 40-minute commute for me. Now, I do
Yeah.
work part-time down in the same city that Jack and Jill is in, at
Mhm.
Portland Nutrition Corner, but even if I didn't, even if I wasn't there part-time, I'd still make that commute, because the community and the environment down there is so beneficial to making progress, in my opinion. And you want to be around
Mhm.
like-minded people. So sometimes you gotta
Yeah.
sacrifice a bit in travel. But
Yeah.
it's
That's a
worth
good
it at
point.
the end of the day. It really depends on like how much you want it. Like, you just want to do this as a hobby, or do you really want to
Yeah.
try and make a real push at this? And if you're trying to make a real push at it, you take the training and the environment just as serious as you take the diet, the sleep, the drugs, all of it. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah, I would definitely make the drive, but the closest gym to me is like an hour and a half, and it's like, fuck, that's
Yeah.
tough. But I do think if you have it within like you can make it happen within your schedule, a good training community, or just like a good training partner, like just someone that is on the same wavelength as you, as like I'm not exercising, I'm training. Like
Yeah.
there's a difference, and that's like everyone that I'm around is like I'm exercising, I'm healthy, whatever. It's like no, I have like like, it's training, it's not exercise. I hate when people say like, oh, you're going to exercise. I'm like, no, it's
Yeah.
training,
Yeah.
bro. Like I hate when people say that shit like, oh, you exercise. I'm like, sure, like whatever,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
like it's my dad was he had a stint in bodybuilding. Like a few days ago, he came into town from work or whatever, and like came to the gym and spotted me on legs, and I haven't had like a training like partner for a day in like so long, and I was like, dude, I this is what I'm missing, is a good training partner, just whether it be like for partial reps, whether it be just the simple fact. I think you probably understand this as well, is I think you develop this when you have a sports background. You don't want to let the guys around you down,
100%.
whether it be like emotion, like whether it be they're emotionally pushing you, but you just don't want to like let them down, especially if you have someone that's like at a higher level than you. You don't want to let the guy down watching. Like something that I've been doing is I'll on my leg days, I will specifically time when I get there to when this one like blue collar dad is there that's just strong as shit, and I have him spot me because I don't want to let that guy down. So it's like having someone there I think is huge, but I do think guys sometimes overrate it. And it's like I think if you can, like you said, it can be like kind of exhausting to feel like you're in this like bubble in your head, and like no one understands you, which I think there's also like some beauty in that, being able to like create your own kind of vibe or whatever. But it's something that me I can't remember who brought it up. May have been Gabe Roach that I had on may have talked about it. But like sometimes when you get in that mindset, James Holland said brought it up that he would be in that like dark mindset, and then that would kind of carry with him like all day.
Yes.
So I think
For sure.
that is something that I've ran into, even not that I've been in this bodybuilding thing for that long, but just like when you have that like negative like vibe around it, it kind of goes with you like throughout your whole day. But if you have like a training partner there, it's kind of like keeping the mood good, or even if y'all are both on that like demon mindset or whatever, it's not as like daunting and like mentally exhausting for the rest of the day. So I think a good training partner is good, but it's not like the end all be all, but it can definitely
Sure.
help.
I've been blessed with some like great training partners my whole career. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm like a big proponent of, if you can find a training partner, somebody like-minded, and you guys can, jive like that, it's going to change everything for you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just such a difference maker. Like you said, somebody on the same wavelength as you, somebody to
Mm-hmm.
push you, somebody to hold you accountable, somebody so
Mm-hmm.
you don't die under the fucking weight. Like,
Yeah.
it makes a difference, and it makes bodybuilding a whole hell of a lot less lonely, because it definitely can be a lonely sport,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're in a rural area, or in a
Yeah.
in a nowhere area, like it sounds like both of us are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Do you happen to know Aaron Allen?
Yeah. 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 I have him on Instagram.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
know he's an Arkansas boy.
Yeah. I think he's from Little Rock. He's in that North
Okay.
Little Rock area. That's
Oh,
like probably like a 2.5 hour drive from me. I think that's like
got
Central
you.
Arkansas.
So y'all aren't super close to each other.
Nah.
I was gonna say,
Nah. I'm
because
like go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know he trains hard as hell, and him and his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was
Yeah.
like, that,
Courtney writes his wife.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're all up in like Central Arkansas. That's where like all of the or not all of, but the only bodybuilding like centric people are live is like Little Rock, Fayetteville, Bentonville, and that's like probably 2.5 to 2 hours from me. I'm on like the Oklahoma border. Like if you go up to the mountain that's in my town, you can just cross right over in Oklahoma. So I'm like very over here. So there's like nothing over here, man. But you brought up a good point of like loneliness and bodybuilding or whatever. And I know you're married, correct?
Girlfriend, but
Exclude
close enough.
girlfriend, but you
Yeah.
have a relationship. So how big of a role does having a solid relationship play? Because I know that y'all brought
Ooh.
that up in your last podcast. And what did Chris had like a couple different things he brought up of like what do you think is the most important, and y'all hit on that. So how has that played a role for you, and how big a role has that played for your bodybuilding and just life in general?
So I can say once again, I've been on both sides of that spectrum.
Yeah.
My ex-wife, she was into fitness, but it got to the point where like she was done with the bodybuilding side and I still wanted to continue with the bodybuilding side. And the support kind of dwindled to some degree. And boy,
Yeah.
does that make it so much harder. Because it's not like you're at least in my situation, it's not like you're fighting with them, but it's always kind of there as like
It's just
this
like awkward.
blanket or
Yes.
cloud
Yeah.
of like, yeah,
Yeah.
like one person wants to move in this direction, this person wants to move in this direction.
Hmm.
And then fast forward once that marriage was over and I got with Shay, who's a great bodybuilder in her own right,
Hmm.
and you have that same mindset and you have that support, whether you're in prep or they're in prep, you both understand the processes, the
Hmm.
emotions, the mental, the physical, the spiritual that goes into it. Like,
Hmm.
man, that it clicks and it makes things so much easier and so much more enjoyable. You don't feel
Hmm.
like a burden. You don't feel like you're wasting time per se. Just all these
Hmm.
things, right? So yeah, I'm not saying go out there and find a girl that bodybuilds, but if you can, because that can be hard, and I don't like when
Yeah.
people are just specifically looking for a fitness girl or a fitness guy,
Yeah.
because I think that in itself is like you're now basing a
Odd.
relationship off of just the fitness part.
Yeah.
It's not great, but
It's got
yeah,
to
if
make
you
sense.
it's
Yeah.
got to make sense, and if you can find the person that at least understands and respects what you're trying to do or trying to accomplish, man, that's
Hmm.
going to open up the gates for you, like for this whole bodybuilding thing for sure.
Yeah. I can't imagine like having a girlfriend that's like that, like on the same level, like mentally as you with everything. That would be I speak to myself as like I like being alone or whatever, but like I think about the position you're. I'm like, dog, that would be fucking awesome, bro.
Yeah, bro.
But like, I can't imagine like prepping together or doing all that kind of stuff together. Like my dad made that suggestion to me in my last relationship, which was like 4 or 5 years long, or whatever. I was like, no, I think. Yo, what is up, beautiful human who is watching the podcast? First of all, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch the podcast, listen to the podcast. It means more to me than you guys know. But I recently checked my YouTube analytics, and 89% of you guys that are watching are not subscribed. So if you could do me one little favor, take some time out of your day and please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell, do all those cool things, and that will mean more to me than you guys know and will help me build this channel so I can bring on greater guests, keep giving you guys information and all that good stuff as well. Second thing is this channel is not sponsored, so I do not make money from these videos, but one way that you can support me is by using my affiliate codes. Right now I've got 3 affiliate codes. One is gonna be with Nutrix Supplements. I've used all their products for about 2 or 3 years now. Their protein is very good. They have a vast variety of EAA flavors and all that kind of stuff as well. I have a code with Biomass Labs. This is my little bottle of SLU for all your peptide needs. It'll be code Maddox over there, just like my name, MADDOX. And then I have another sponsor now with Flavor Gang. Flavor Gang has some of the craziest flavors when it comes to like cream of rice flavors, when it comes to 0-calorie sauces. It is some of the craziest tasting things. It tastes like you are cheating on your diet all the time, which is crazy. So that'll be code Maddox over there, just like my name, MADDOX. And if you guys can please use my codes over there to support me in my journey of whatever this is, that would mean more to me than you guys know. But with all that being said, let's get back to the podcast. I think it's good that we have our own interests,
Yeah.
and then we see. I saw where that led, and like, and not nothing against her, that relationship taught me a lot, but it's like my dad was always like, y'all have nothing in common, like this isn't gonna work, and I'm like, nah, dude, you don't understand, like opposites attract, yada yada yada, and then just it all fell
Yeah.
apart. But I think that's something that a lot of guys could benefit from, that just they don't really think about. They think like, I need to do all this stuff with my training, my diet, my this, my that, but
Yeah.
don't think of like things outside of that, or just having like relationships and friendships in general with also like people that maybe are not in the space and not like all into
100%.
bodybuilding. Because I with my I don't have any like, this is gonna sound really depressing, I don't have any like really friends in my town, but I have my grandpa, and I talk to him constantly. He's not into bodybuilding at all, but just having someone to like disconnect from for a little bit and just talk about like with you, I'm sure you have like fishing friends, right? Or people that just like fish and you talk to about that. Or just like, are you still in like, you're still in like basketball and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still watch. I don't play. I don't
Yeah,
play,
right.
but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I still
Just
watch, and I
having
got a
like
lot of
people
friends that,
to,
yeah,
yeah, just having people to like communicate with that are like outside of the space. And that's something that my coach, Tom Schuster, has mentioned to me, that I hit him up a while back, and I was like, how could I be like a better athlete? Because I saw someone ask or talk about that. And I was like, I want to ask Tom that. And, he gave me like the X's and O's. He was like, yada, yada, yada. You've been good. You've been consistent with your diet, training, whatever. But I think where you would benefit from is like getting out of so much bodybuilding stuff. And I was like, yeah, but I need to be locked down. I need to be entrenched in this shit. And what I've realized is like the past couple of days or the past couple of weeks, I've gotten like 2 new jobs, right?
hmm
And I feel like being able to like pull yourself out of focusing on bodybuilding so much almost allows you to give more back to it when you do come back to it. Like the example that I've kind of made for myself is like, if you this is a really bad example, but it just makes sense in my head. Is like, if you're doing drugs, right, and you quit doing drugs, when you come back, that shit's
yeah,
gonna hit.
them
And it's the
drugs hit.
same thing.
Them
And
drugs
they
hit,
hit.
boy.
And it's the same thing with bodybuilding. I feel like when you are able to kind of have some things or people you talk to or just things you do that you can like step out, when you come back, it feels like fresh again. It feels good to you again, instead of being so like, I get the being locked in a box thing, but I think
Yeah,
that, the brain's a muscle too. So if you just like only think about bodybuilding 24/7, you never like read or talk to anyone that has like other interests or whatever, I feel like your brain just becomes like, I've met some pretty dumb bodybuilders, I'm not gonna lie, and I think it's because that's all they do
thanks,
is just
bro.
think about this, and they have nothing outside of that. So like, what are some things that you have outside of bodybuilding? I know you have fishing.
Yeah,
What are some of the things that you have outside of bodybuilding that you do?
I'm so glad you say that because I think that's such an important thing. You can't
Hmm.
be. Not everybody's Nick Walker, right? Like, not everybody's
Unfortunately,
bodybuilding all the time. Yeah,
I'm gonna bring
unfortunately,
that up later. I'm gonna bring that
we
up
we
later.
we'd all love to be Nick, but
Hmm.
yeah, like a way to disassociate and disconnect from bodybuilding, at least for me, is so important. Like I do the fishing. I'm big into camping. I love going on hikes.
Yeah, hiking's so fun, dude.
Hiking's great.
Dude, yeah, that's all there is to do in my city, because we're like,
Facts.
there's a big mountain here, so like you can just go up there and hike, and it's
Yeah.
very nice.
You gotta come
Yeah.
up to Maine, bro. We got so many like hikes along the coast and stuff.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
They're great. Yeah, shit. Just like I said, fishing. I mean, I'm a sports fanatic. It really
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I mean, basketball, football are the main focuses, but I'll watch damn near anything.
Yeah.
I'm a closet nerd for sure. I fucking got shit like this going on.
Yeah.
Transform. Lord of the Rings
I
stuff all around the room here.
I wonder
And
if you can see this. Oh, look at this little. I got a Hot Wheel wall over there.
okay, respect.
I used to be such a like a Hot Wheel nerd. Like whenever we would do Christmas pictures, I would hold up like little Hot Wheels in every picture,
Well, that's
and so
dope.
I carried that through my adulthood or whatever, and I had like a little Hot Wheel wall. But yeah, I think having things like that, just it like allows you to give more when you come back to bodybuilding. Like whenever
Yeah,
you come back, it's like fresher. And if I feel like when you are that person that just thinks about like bodybuilding and fitness and nutrition and all that kind of, and the drugs and all this kind of stuff, is when you start to get into the mindset that a lot of like guys my age are in nowadays, where they overthink everything, and then they get into training and they're doing the things that you guys always bring up, like the arm and the whatever and the this and the that, and it's like, I think whenever you become so focused on that, you have nothing outside of that, is when you become you overthink every little thing you're doing.
Yeah,
And if
for
you would just
sure.
like disconnect and come back, you would just do the basics, and then it would probably everything would work a lot better because you're
Yeah.
not overthinking everything. And this, what are your of the like in bodybuilding? There's like training, nutrition, drugs, and I ask everybody this, but what do you think of those three is the most important?
Damn, that's such a tough one. But I'm gonna lean towards the training side because that's
Beautiful.
what I've always been good at. I guess I'd
Yeah.
say training because first off, because it's fun as hell. Like,
Right.
that's like what I don't get is dudes that get into bodybuilding and they don't seem like they enjoy training. Like they're doing it because it's a means to an end. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like you didn't before you knew what bodybuilding was, you have to have like coming in and pulling some heavy shit off the floor or putting some heavy weight on your back and squatting down. Like cuz this shit will not work if you don't like that aspect.
Yeah.
That
I
being
like that.
said, like I guess tiers after that, I know younger guys are gonna hate this. They're gonna hate to hear this, but the diet's the second most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, the drugs are a necessity. I'm not gonna act like they're not a necessity, but it's
But it's so
all the
simple.
same shit. Like
It is like
you can take some tests, you can take some GH, and you can get big as fuck. Like you don't.
this
It's
is the
not.
fun. Yeah.
It's
It's
not
the
like this
funniest shit.
rocket science. It's like,
Yeah.
but you can, but right, like you can run the test and you can run the GH, and if you don't train like a fucking maniac, I guarantee you won't get any bigger no matter how much test and GH you run. So like to me, that kind of leans towards like, well, one's more important than the other because you can still get big if you don't have the test and GH and you train hard as fuck, but you can't get big if you take the test in GH and don't train. So
Yeah, right. On the training piece, I think that it's like there's a lot of people now. I see a lot of people on like Instagram that are like this, but not like in person because everybody that I see training in person is kind of like the random Joe that just like has no idea. But the people like within the fitness space like get into bodybuilding for it's like they get into it and then training is just like a chore to them. It's like they
yeah,
want to bodybuild, but like training is like I gotta go train today because it's part of this, and it's like that shit's crazy to me because like that's like what this all should be driven from. Like no one really likes to manipulate diets. No one likes to titrate and do these cool drug protocols. It's like you like to train. That's why you do all of this. Like that's like
sure.
you trained, and then like bodybuilding kind of just like came like for you trained for basketball, whatever, and then bodybuilding came with that because that was just like somewhere you could channel all this and like take that competitive nature or whatever. And then it's just a weird perspective and concept that I don't think I'm ever going to understand. Like I just don't get it because I like the reason I got into training or bodybuilding was like through football or whatever. Like football, I was always competitive in that or whatever. And then like the only thing that I got from football was the training. And then I was
Yeah,
like, how could I keep doing this and like be competitive? And that's where bodybuilding came from. And then it's like with the PED thing, it's so funny because like I was hell bent on being like natural my whole life, and then I was like, in the back of my head, I always knew. So I thought that once I got into it, there'd be all these crazy things I had to learn, which I do think something that I've realized is that when you do get on PEDs, you do have to become a lot smarter about like health. Like when
for
you're
sure.
natural, all you got to do is lift, eat chicken, and sleep, and take your creatine, and that's all you have to worry about. But with
Yeah,
when you're on PEDs and you take it, once you get to like bigger gram cycles, you have to worry about like heart health, kidney health, liver health, and all these things, and you have to become very well versed in all that, which I think is kind of cool because people will paint bodybuilders as really like dumb, but then you get to know some of them and they're like geniuses because they have to because they don't want to die. So it's like
yeah,
kind of funny, but like once you get into it, it's like it is all everybody's taking. There's less options of PEDs than there are like options of foods or options of training modalities or intensity techniques or splits. And so there's so much more variety in the two things that actually do matter. And then with PEDs, there's like, I don't know, I couldn't name all of them, but like the main ones that people use, there's like five or six.
it's like it's very limited. It's very limited.
And then like it's pretty funny because once you get into it, like on the outside looking in, you kind of, I guess there's not really like an open like bodybuilding like steroid discussion on Instagram, but if you were like the outside looking like the forums or whatever, you'd be like, God, there's so much to learn and so much to figure out. But then you talk to the people that are like you or like Luke's even more blunt about it than
Yeah,
anybody about about like the gear and stuff. It's just it's very simple. And I think that it's a good feeling too. Like when I first got into it, I thought I'd have to learn so much and like all these different things, but then it's like it's very simple. It always comes back to the simple things,
it
which is
is.
beautiful.
It's simple,
It's
man.
just it's simple.
You eat a lot of chicken and rice. You take two or
Hmm.
three compounds at a dose needed. You train as hard as you can,
Hmm.
but it's still recoverable. And you do that for fucking 10 years. And you'll have a fucking fantastic physique, I guarantee. Like,
Yeah.
you can't guarantee much in bodybuilding, but I can guarantee anybody that.
Hmm. Yeah, it always comes back to the thing of people wanting to like get I say this as an Amazon Prime box sits on my fridge. Like they want like the Amazon Prime results. They want the results like in a year, 2 years. So then they start thinking of all these crazy training modalities and methods and diets and drug synergies and whatever. When it's just like if you would just do like really simple stuff and quit stressing about what have you, and but just do it for 10 years. Now that's
Yeah,
the catch.
that's
If I
it.
tell you to do, if I tell you to eat this same diet and take these drugs and do this split that agrees for your body for 10 years, are you okay with that? And they're like,
Yep.
that's no, because like I've ran into this issue myself. It's like a
That
few
sounds
weeks
crazy,
back.
right? Like, that
Yeah,
sounds
right. Yeah.
crazy. You like,
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but like I
No,
talk
you
about
good.
this all the time. Like, this is usually a
Yeah.
conversation I have when I've smoked a little bit. But
Yeah.
like bodybuilding is fucking crazy. You tell that to somebody, like eat the same exact food, train till you're dead every day, take these
Hmm.
drugs for 10 years, do it for 10 years. And you might be good, but we don't know.
And we
Like,
don't know.
who in
Yeah.
their right mind's gonna who in their right mind's
Yeah.
gonna do that?
Yeah.
That's where it comes back to like the love of like you just gotta love it. Like
Yeah, there's
you
beauty.
gotta
There's so much beauty in that though. Is like loving the monotony, and I think that there's only like a select. I'm not saying that people that are like that are like God chosen, but like God, I feel like God like display or disperses skills in everybody. And if you were given like the monotonous like key card or whatever, a calling card, I guess they call it like a calling card. If you were given the loving of like monotonous things, this sport's probably for you. But if you're someone that needs like which is a lot of guys now that need like the dopamine hit every 5 seconds. They need to change. They become neurotic about everything they do. This probably isn't for you because like I've ran into this issue. My coach has helped me with this. He was like a few weeks back, I was wanting to train some or change something in like my training program because I can't remember why. He was like, "Are you wanting to change that for like actual benefit, or are you just wanting
yeah.
change for the sake of change?" And I was like, "Fuck,
Yep.
you're right."
Yep.
And then he was like, "You need to like let go of that. Like it's just a dopamine hit. Like something's new and something's fun. It's like, how about we just like master this one exercise and then just see where that goes instead of just changing stuff? Because like when it comes to training, you have to like I've come to realize like you have to like neurologically learn it for the first like 6 to 8 weeks. And like most people, that's when they change their split is like after 6 to 8 weeks of this like mesocycle or whatever, I'm going to change everything. Where it's like you now you have to relearn a whole new movement pattern, a
100%.
whole new everything, and it's just like it's screwed up. Like that's why I find training tomorrow. I'm having a pod with Condell, which is going to be
Hell
super
yeah.
fun. I'm going to pick his brain for an hour and a half on training because
Yeah.
that's all he not all, but that's what he mainly like preaches or whatever is a training. But it's like that's what guys struggle with that I see a lot of is they're like, well, I want to change my training program from this to this after this like many weeks or whatever. But it's like it takes like 6 to 8 weeks to like I just said to learn a movement pattern because like there is just certain like cues you need to learn, how to
For
set
sure.
your body up, when to like how to like do like what cadence feels the most for you or whatever. And it's like if you're switching movements every 6 to 8 weeks and you don't like nail the training cues for
100%.
yourself, how are you ever gonna like maximize a hack squat or like or like for back especially? It's like because back is like the hardest to train. If you're changing your pull downs and your rows every 6 weeks, it's like I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that guys make with their training. But what split do you run yourself? Like what have you found that works for you?
So I've done a bunch of them. Right now we run like a modified push pull leg. It's like a excuse me. It's like a pull quad and then a quad focus day, then a rest day, then a push, then a hamstring focus day. And now I'm only training 4 times a week at this
So
time.
2 on 1 off.
Yeah, 2 on, 1
Yeah,
off.
that's
Well,
what I'm running
it's
too.
2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 2 off,
Got
which
you.
is a little bit new for me. But I've had
Hmm.
some some little injuries over the past year that I'm not used to being injured
Yeah.
ever. So it's
Yeah.
been kind of fighting these injuries and getting healthy again. And just kind of at the intensity that we're currently training with, I'm telling you, 2 days in a row is not a bad thing right now. Like
Yeah.
where I used to fucking like hate a rest day, like I hate to see a rest
Right.
day in,
Me too.
now it's like I need that 2 rest days to recover these legs if I'm gonna hit them again next week.
Right.
But I think something that you said that's important about the like not wanting to change a split is like I've been running pretty much the same movement patterns for fucking 8 years straight. Like
Yes,
that shit
exactly.
doesn't change. And like you said, in 6 to 8 weeks, you're still learning movement patterns. Like you can't even track progress in 6 to 8 weeks because your
You're
body,
learning
like,
it.
you know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
you get on a hip press and you've never used a hip press before, those first 3 weeks are like your body learning the movement. You're gonna go up inherently in weight anyways, just because the body's getting used to that. Now you're
hmm
6 weeks in and you're switching the movement. Well, you haven't even progressed like with actually pushing your body at that because your
Yeah.
body's just been adapting to the movement. So
hmm
find movements that you like that work and master them. Then don't switch. Like what the fuck would you switch a movement for if it's working?
And the thing with like this, like non-switching movements is, I think the biggest thing with training that you need to nail is like intensity and like
Yeah.
intentional intensity. And if you're constantly switching movements, you're gonna have to be constantly like in your head, like in like mid set. I think like the mid set mentality is where a lot of guys like fuck up. Like a lot of guys get like lost. You see their eyes start going everywhere. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And if you are switching movements every 6, 8 to 12 weeks, you're not going to be able to be like within the set and actually take it there or actually be within your cues or whatever, because you're trying to learn all these new things. And like you said, just like find 8 movements, find like 8 or 10 movements for like a certain body part, or like not even a certain body part, but just for everything,
Yeah.
and just master those. And then your training becomes it's the same thing. It all comes back to like the simple thing, the simplicity and the patience thing. It's like just remove all the random training modalities and all the random foods and diets, and just like find the really simple shit. And that's like what I think guys need to love about bodybuilding. It's like it's very simple. It's just simple and patient. That's really the two things you need the most of.
Yeah.
You know.
One more thing I'll say on training is like I'm a big believer in like get strong. Like I mean,
Yeah.
eventually you're going to get to a point like with any progressive overload style program where like strength isn't the end all be all, but
hmm
strength is a great indicator that you're fucking building muscle. Like
Yeah.
strength translates to every other movement pattern you decide to pick after you're done with a certain movement pattern. So
hmm
like get as strong as possible in those movements that you pick because that
hmm
in my mind is the secret to bodybuilding. I
Yeah.
mean,
I like that.
there are the Phil Heaths out there, and that's not saying Phil didn't train hard, but they're the
Yeah.
guys that can go in the gym and do any movement with
And you're
any
jacked.
weight, and yeah, exactly, and they're gonna
Yeah.
look like a
Yeah.
freak. But for the majority of us, I promise
Yeah.
you, focusing on strength and getting strong with intensity and intention and control is going to be the most important thing that comes with your training.
Yeah, I like that. I think all the like a good training program has like your isolation, cool, squeezy stuff, but then at the core of every session should be that shit to where yes, your form is good. It's not like you're not being an idiot, but it's like you're taking it there. And I think that that just translates, like you said, to every other movement. Like if you get really strong at a stiff leg deadlift, I promise that will translate to damn near everything you're doing as far as like
Everything else.
for your back movements. If you get really strong at a press, any sort of pressing movement or whatever, that's going to translate to everything. If you get really strong on a squat, that's going to translate to everything. And it's just like coming back to the fun part. That's the fun part. Like I made a
That's
post,
the fun
like a
part.
quick dumb post like earlier. It's like whenever you're able to have those hard sets on like your meat and potato movements or whatever, and you're able to just like tone everything out. I can't remember who said it. Like Dave Tate said something about it, like
Void,
yeah, the void. Like
void.
I know I've never moved like crazy numbers or anything, but like being able, like I did my pull session earlier, and it's like I had like 365 or whatever, and like being able to just like close your eyes and like see shit, and you have like loud ass music going, and you just send it. That shit's fun. Like
It's
I would
amazing.
hope that's fun for you. And
Yeah,
like getting back to the conversation of like, if that's not fun for you, why the fuck are you in there for 2 hours piddling around for no reason?
for
But it's
sure.
like when you have those movements like that are your meat and potato movements, like you like what you said, it just translates to everything within the program. And I think that in our or like my generation is becoming more of like, how can I do like less and get the same result, or how can I do like easier things and get more results? And that's where like the whole feeling every movement kind of thing, like the whole squeezy, I don't know I don't know what you would deem that training as, but I think that's where it comes from. When it's just like, yo, dog, sometimes you just gotta grow some stones and just fucking move weight around.
100%. Like me and my training partners were talking about this the other day. Like we have our like top sets, which are very controlled and focused, but like every now and then, like we call it like a branch set, right? Like where we just
Yeah,
you just move the weight because it's fucking fun.
yeah,
And taking top sets or what we call branch sets to complete
hmm
failure, like when you're sitting there after that set with your boys and everybody's just like staring off into the nothingness because like you're emotionally broken.
that
Like, bro,
shit
those
is,
are some of my favorite moments in my
yeah,
bodybuilding career is just
yeah,
sitting around with that group and you all just pulled your maxes on deadlift for like a couple sets. And like,
hmm
there's nothing like that euphoric high that you get from that. And like,
hmm
that's what bodybuilding is to me. Bodybuilding
yeah,
is living in that moment of pure bliss because you just did the hardest shit that you didn't think you could do and you fucking survived it. And your
hmm
boy right next to you did the same shit and you cheered him on while he was doing it. Like that's
yeah.
bodybuilding to me.
That is bodybuilding. I think where that gets kind of misconstrued with guys my age is that they're looking for like anything that's been like scientifically proven that this will get you results. And like there is no study done on three meatheads on a bunch of tests and GH that are pulling deads. Like that's
Yeah.
never gonna happen. And like it's what John Meadows said. He's like, I'm glad that I never waited for a study to like verify what I'm doing, because like that's never gonna happen. And our like and our subset of people, there's never going to be studies done on us. So it's like if you're waiting for a study to be done for to base what you're going to do with your training, your nutrition, maybe PEDs more so could like that could be applicable for, but like nutrition and training specifically, there's never going to be studies done on like that demographic. And like you said, with like that's just what bodybuilding is, and like that's what the biggest things that you remember about bodybuilding is those moments. Same thing like with the diet and like dieting for a show. It's like people would try and get away with, I got show ready on steps only and all
Yeah.
these refeeds, but it's like I think that you're gonna remember your prep and be a lot more proud of it if you had to like dig your fucking ass off and you
Yeah.
had to diet super hard. And it's like it just comes back to the whole thing of doing less to get more. But speaking of dieting and prepping for shows, in your past, have you had to been like a pretty hard dieter for shows? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Us black guys, we got to diet pretty hard
That's
always.
what I, that's what I was thinking you were gonna say. Yeah.
I've, I've, I've definitely, I remember my first national show, North Americans in 2019. Brandon Ray was my coach at the time. And I think there was a point when I was doing like 2 hours, 20 minutes of cardio a day, like at least an hour and a
2 hours
half
and
of it on
20 minutes.
stairs.
Damn.
Yeah, and I would have multiple zero carb days in a row, but like it's what I had to do to bring my glutes in, so it's like what we
That's
had
what
to
it takes.
do.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's memorable to me. I remember those stair sessions. I remember going hypo on the stairs. I remember having to crash out on the couch before I drove my car back to my apartment. Like
Yeah.
because that struggle is what makes the memories in bodybuilding. Like the good times make the memories too, but like those
hmm
struggle states in bodybuilding is what like really stick with you.
Yeah, I like that. I love that. Dieting, like those, especially for like your first couple of shows. Like me and Luke kind of hit on this in the last podcast. Like that's what builds like the foundation of like your mentality for shows going forward. If you've never taken it there or pushed it there, whether it be with diet or training or whatever, you're just never gonna have that like mental foundation. That's like you said. That's what the memories come from. Is all the hard shit. But speaking of bodybuilding, all that stuff, this will be the only podcast that I have before Tampa,
But
that I'm
yeah,
gonna get out before Tampa. So I wanted to get, what are your takes on Tampa? Who do you have in that first? I mean, we all kind of know like the first call, like the first top two or three, but what are your takes? I'm gonna pull some
Man.
pictures up.
Well, so you'd be
I
a
wanted to go
fool.
to I wanted to go to this. I was trying to plan to take off work and go to this, but I was like, my dad like on a whim bought tickets to Texas, and I was like, you know what? I'll go with this. This will be good. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be to Texas.
We were planning on going to Tampa too, but it didn't pan out for the podcast.
Yeah,
So we'll
yeah,
probably go down to Tampa not during a show. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, okay, so if you're a betting man, you better be betting on Nick. Like, so like it is what it is. I mean, if you look at
Yeah,
that picture, he looks crazy. Honestly, his quads look like they might have come up a little bit from the front. Like he's just
yeah.
standing in a like you can't really
That's
tell because he doesn't have
wild.
trunks on, so you can't like see
Yeah,
but to me that looks like his quads look a little more swept on the outside.
yeah. That's yeah. I agree.
Or just maybe they're just fuller. I don't know if they just found a way to keep them fuller.
Yeah,
But yeah, Nick for sure.
yeah.
Now, second place is interesting. I love Joe.
I agree. I agree.
Joe's my boy. Joe is my
Yeah,
boy. But the way James looked last weekend in
I'm
China,
telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah,
and I do think people are sleeping on Charles because he is back out of retirement.
yeah.
I think
I like
that
Charles. And
second place
that
between
podcast I did with him was sick. I like his personality. He reminds me of like a. I used to play basketball down in Nashville, which is like a bunch. I'm not trying to. This is gonna sound really
yeah.
fucking racist. I don't want to. I don't want to come off like this, but he
Nah, you
reminds me of
good, you good.
some of those like more like hardcore black guys. And I
Yeah.
loved it. Like just hearing him talk, it's like, man, I don't give a damn. Like this is so funny. Like I loved it.
I swear if Charles didn't want to bodybuild, he could be a hell of a rapper with his voice.
He could. Damn, I never
He's
thought about
got
that. Yeah.
he's got the voice. But I
Yeah, that's
mean,
yeah.
Charles looks fantastic. I feel like people always kind of underestimate him, and then he shows up and just handles business. So honestly, 2 through 5 is really tough. My
Yeah,
boy Ken looks
I'm
fantastic.
excited for like the sorry to interrupt you, but like the guys following after Nick and them, like that's a lot of guys there. I can't pull his page up was
That 3 through 5 battle will be tough. But
yeah.
like I said, Ken, he's going to be in the mix there in that first call out. What do you think? Should we just do a top 5? What we think is a top 5?
Yeah, let's run it. Let me pull up like a list right quick. I like Charles's vacuum. His vacuum is nuts. Like that's what I really like about it. One guy I wanted to highlight before we do predictions is this dude doing classic. I saw this update and I thought I need to bring it up. Fuck, where'd it go? His name's Laszlo. Look
This
at this
guy.
kid.
Okay. Wow.
I don't really. I can't. The more I've gotten into bodybuilding, the more I kind of only keep up with open. But this is one of the classic guys, and I thought he looked crazy. But yeah, let me pull up this list right here. So we've got Brandon Alexander. Don't know. Ken, Tim Budasheim. If he had a little bit better of a shape, he is humongous. He looks really good.
Tim is massive for sure.
Yeah, he's like. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up some of his pics right quick.
Yeah.
He's also super nice, like from some of the videos I've seen. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Tim, I mean his
Dude, he's
size
like, it's
is
a big fella.
insane.
He's got pretty good shape, actually. I take that back.
His
It's not
shape isn't bad. I think it's just one of those things that like standing alone, you're like shape's not bad. And obviously I'm not saying when he stands on stage it's bad. It's just when you get to against those guys like Charles who can pull a vacuum or Ken who has a
Yeah,
really small waist, it just kind of exposes like the
yeah,
thickness he has to his midsection. But I mean, the guy has
yeah.
all the muscle in the world.
Like you can look, like you said, you can look really good on your own. But what happens when you get like next to people? It's like it just like accentuates, or if that's the word, like the shape or whatever. So let me go back to the list. Okay, this will pull it. All right. So Ken, Tim Budasheim, don't know. Like Gianluca looks pretty good, but I can't remember like where he would be at. Charles Griffin, Hollingshead, and Walter Martin. This Genzo looks pretty good too. He's a big fella. Patrick Moore, Joe,
Yeah,
Nick,
Patrick. Yeah.
Patrick. Yeah, he's so you can go first if you have who you think. I don't
All
know.
right. Shit. I feel like I'm gonna get filleted for all this. I feel like once you start becoming friends with guys in the industry, is
Yeah.
you you feel so bad for
It's
where
nothing
you place
personal.
them.
None personal. None
It's
personal.
nothing personal. This is emotion is not put into these calls at all. I am going off of
I think I think
what I
people who
was. Yeah,
take that shit personally need to like just screw the fuck up. It's not that big of a deal.
yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go Nick 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna go
James.
James 2.
Yup. Yup. I knew it. Yeah. Yup.
I'm gonna go Joe. I'm gonna go Charles. I'm gonna go Joe
Shit.
3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Charles 4 and
Yeah.
Ken 5.
Damn. Oh fuck! I think you said Charles 3 or Joe 3?
Joe 3.
Joe 3. Damn, I think you have like I'm gonna go. I really think if James can come nailed like he did, I don't think Joe can beat that. I think it's gonna be more of like a Nick and James 1 and 2. I say that, but like Joe's last update was him 6 weeks out. So we haven't really seen him, so I don't know what game him and Justin are gonna play after seeing James. We have no idea what he looks like, which is kind of fucked. I think I'm gonna go Nick, James, Joe. I want to go Ken.
Nice.
Ken, I like Ken. I like Ken as a person, to
Me
be
too.
honest, more than anything. He's such like a well spoken bodybuilder. That's why I've always like him and him and Carlos Thomas remind me a lot of each other. Like they're very like well spoken black fellas.
Yeah,
I like them.
for
And
sure.
then so Nick, James,
He said well-spoken black fellas.
yeah,
I like
I
it.
love it. Yeah. Nick, James, Joe, Ken, and then Charles. And then as a dark horse, low key, I think I may have I've seen a pretty crazy picture of this Vincenzo guy. I
Oh,
think he could
Vincenzo?
be a dark horse. I don't know about Patrick Moore. I think fuck, I haven't seen a picture of Moore in a second. Let me see him find him real quick. Him and
Vincenzo's
Vincenzo.
a New England guy. He used to be up here. I watched him when he was an amateur. He is a massive human being. He usually has a little bit of a problem with
Okay.
conditioning in the
Spell his
lower
face.
half from the back.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Not saying that he can't get there. It's just been his Achilles heel in the past.
Yeah. Patrick. See if he has any updates up.
Yeah, I'll probably put Patrick in that 6th spot.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty funny there where everybody's going back and forth for like 2 or 3 days and like, I'm gonna win. No, I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
It's like one person said, I think Patrick was the first one to say that, like, I'm gonna win, and then everybody just put their vote in, which I mean, I think you should carry that. I think that's something that is it's a funny topic that I hear a lot of people like bring up is like you should like carry yourself to have that perspective that yeah, I'm gonna win, but like also be able to like be realistic. Like
Yeah.
don't be stupid, you know. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that Patrick's stupid, don't get me wrong, but like
No. But yeah, you
yeah.
you you're right. You have to have that you have to have the mentality of every show
You
I'm
gotta
coming
train for
to win.
that and dive like that, yes. But like
But
be
but yeah, you're right. Like at the same time, you have to be a realist in this sport. Like,
yeah.
Nick's showing up and he looks spot on. Like,
Yeah,
what are we
one
talking about?
one comparison I wanted to make, like I love Charles and I love like the person he is, but like look at Charles' back double, like it's good, right?
Yeah.
Look at this. And this
Yeah.
is the lower body specifically, like Nick's adductor and glutes compared to
It's
everyone
in,
else's, like
it's
it's
insane.
it's yeah, like if you just like see here, it's
Yeah.
it's 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 a different game. I don't know what genetics that he has for fucking adductors, and it's crazy because like the way that's a whole other topic for another day is like Nick's training now is just so much different. But like if you know like Nick's past,
Oh my God.
completely different. You can't make that comparison. Like I've made that point to a lot of guys is they're like, well, Nick trains like this, so I'm gonna try it out. It's like you didn't see like Matt Jansen, Nick Walker era,
Yeah, you didn't see Nick going into North Americans and USAs when he was shoulder pressing 220s and he was
Yeah,
Smith machine squatting 6 plates for fucking 15 reps. Like,
yeah. That kind of hits back on like our just get strong topic. It's like you have to go through
yo,
that era
you
first. But yeah, I think
you do.
yeah, I think that's a good solid top five. I don't know. I wanted to pull up this Chinzo, but I can't find his profile. But yeah, so you've got Nick, James, Charles, or Joe Charles, right? Or Charles Joe.
Joe.
Joe 3, yeah. That'll
Man, I
that'll
might
be
have to
interesting to see. Go ahead.
my so I love this Ken Charles matchup because they're
Yeah.
similar heights. And I
Uh-huh.
think at this point in time they have similar what do you want to call it? Like weak points.
Yeah.
I will say I think Charles is back since he's coming back to the sport. I think you give him
Mm-hmm.
another year that back the density will come back a little bit. He looks a
Right.
little bit shallower to me than he did before he retired.
Yeah.
And then once again, I think Ken's weak point has always just been the depth to his back.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a really fun matchup,
Yeah.
Ken and Charles.
Yeah. That'll
Ken
be
really
like
hasn't
a.
showed us Ken really hasn't showed us much either. So
This was 9 hours ago.
yeah,
Damn. Yeah, that'll be a good matchup. Like that, all those like two to or not two, yeah, like the 3 to 7 spots.
yeah,
Like I think it's gonna be awesome to see. Like the 1 and 2, however that swings or whatever. But I think there's more people in that like 3 to 7, even like 3 to 8 range. I think that'll be really exciting to see as well. Someone I wanted to
for
bring up
sure.
outside of the open was someone in the 212. Do you know Courage?
Courage Opara, yeah, he
Yeah,
used to be classic, right? Yeah,
he's doing 212. Yeah, he looks crazy.
he looks insane, bro.
They had an update of him somewhere.
Yeah,
I
I
think it's on
saw
his
that
page.
today. I
It's
don't
like
remember
this
who
one.
it was,
This one.
but yeah,
Sheesh.
yeah, man, that's a
That's
hell of a look.
yeah, that's wild. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to
Yeah,
see. I always like 212 because they're just like super since they have to make like the weight cap. They're just like super peeled, but just tiny open bodybuilders. But
yeah.
I've always liked their looks. It's gonna be
I
a
always
crazy show,
ask,
man.
I always ask 212ers like what needs to happen to bring back the excitement to 212 because there was a time
Hmm.
there in the like 20 teens where 212 was like the shit and
Really?
now it just kind of feel no, I'm not gonna say the division's dead, but like I mean when you have
Yeah.
obviously like Flex and Sean and
Hmm.
Jose and like all those guys, even dating back to like the 2010s, like I don't know, it was like 212 really had this like energy about it, and I it doesn't quite feel the same way anymore. And I
Yeah.
don't know if it's because like maybe the personalities aren't as big as some of those names were.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
don't
point.
know.
Plus, I think like the push for more like more classic looking physiques being on like social media and stuff like that. I think that this 212 just doesn't get because like open will always be like the biggest in all like terms, like the biggest division. I think, but I think the push for classic kind of just like I guess like just takes away any kind of highlight from the 212 because it's also more like the more compact, not like pretty physiques or whatever. And like you said, I think that's a really good point that you had about the names in this in that sport or not in that sport, but in that division not being the biggest. Besides, like there was Derek, there was Hottie, but then they went to the open or
Yeah,
whatever. But I just think it's just shorter open bodybuilders that if they had the height and they had the means to go to open, I'm sure they would. But just most guys that are in the 212 just are short. But that's someone else that has looked crazy this year. Like I'm going to talk to tomorrow is Condell. He looked really good. I remember some of his updates leading up to New York was awesome. That's really cool. That's awesome. But yeah, Florida or not Florida, but Tampa's gonna be crazy. I'll be excited to see who goes because it's Tampa, Atlanta, then
yep,
Texas, right?
yep.
Yeah. So Tampa or Atlanta is like that week in between. Yeah. Okay. That's gonna be interesting to see who does those shows. I'm guessing whoever doesn't. I would like to see the one guy I want to see just run the gambit and make it to the Olympia is James. Like
I
I
would
hope
love.
if he does win Tampa, go to Atlanta, go to Dallas, and then go do that like Augusta show or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know where
Yeah,
it's at, but just go there. Like just do it because like this is your life, this is your career, and I know he's got the means to do it. Just because if he goes and does that little show, I think Beyond the Stage should have it because he has like everything on his page.
yeah,
If he goes and does that show, there is no way he doesn't like win that show.
dude. That's what I'm saying. Like if James can just keep knocking these out, Like
Yeah.
I would think he has a very good chance of winning Atlanta if he pushes on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Atlanta, Texas, the Austria Pro is the last one for the
Okay.
Olympia, I believe, and
That's the
that's
last
I think that's close to the where he lives. Am I mistaken that Austria, UK, kind
UK,
of?
Austria, it's all UK's it's all the same to me. I would assume it's not that far.
Yeah, right. That's a really good point. I think, especially, I think something that could push him to do all those shows is like he just had a kid.
Yeah.
So I think that he's like, I have to provide for this baby, and he's very like philosophical and like in that mindset all the time. So I do think that that could push him to do that. But that's one guy. Like just as a person, I would love to see James qualify
Me too.
again, especially because he's finally like nailing it, and I think he got a lot of flack there for a little bit for like going from like who was it, Boss of Outlaw, and then to Tuttle, and then to
Yeah.
whoever, and like I get it, he's just trying to find his thing, but I do think he caught a lot of flack for that. But now that he's kind of found his rhythm, I'd like to see James do well. He's a really good person.
James
He's a
is
good
like
dude.
your bodybuilder's favorite bodybuilder. That's like his
Yeah,
persona.
I agree.
I've been a fan of James forever. So yeah, I would personally like to see him make it to the O as well. That'd
Yeah,
just be really cool.
that would be cool. All right, brother. So we're coming up on like an hour and 11, hour and 15, and I always end the podcast with one question. So whenever your time is up, Michael, how do you want to be remembered?
Man, I guess in the bodybuilding space, I'd like to be remembered as a nice guy who tried to help up and comers reach their dreams. I guess at the end of the day, bodybuilding for me has never been about trying to make money in it, trying to have a big name or a big following. It's literally been about trying to share something that I fell in love with and sharing it with people with the hope that they'll learn to love it to some degree the same way that I love it and how it helped me in life, right? So I think that's the biggest thing for me. I don't need any statues, monuments, or, Mike was a great bodybuilder. His physique was crazy. Just that, like, he fucking loved it and he did some good things trying to help people. I think that's the biggest thing
Yeah,
for me.
I like that. Now, how about as a person? This as like as a human.
As a human,
Yeah,
shit, how would I like to be remembered? That's a good question. Probably the same way, man. Like
yeah, I like
he
that.
was he was a decent dude.
He was a
Yeah,
good guy.
he had a
He was
couple
a good guy.
issues. Like he was a little off, but like he's all
Yeah.
right.
I like that. I like that. I think some people have like a big, like philosophical, deep answer they've thought about. It's like some guys, hey, I just want to be remembered as I was a good dude.
Yeah, man.
I think
Like
that says a lot.
I
Just
was just I
being a
was
good
just
guy.
as a decent dude. I gotta say, man, you are a fantastic host. You're good at this shit. Real good
Thank
at
you.
this shit. Yeah, man.
I appreciate it, man. I don't like, I've had like business mentors or guys suggest, or talk about you need to do like the short form, you need to do this, to that. I'm like, bro, I can't. I can't. I don't care. Like I talked to Chris Pantano, is that how you say his last name? Pantano, whatever. I talked to him about this and I was like, I don't care how much like longer it takes me to like grow my platform or whatever. If I can do it through the means of just like a long form, that's what I'm gonna do because I just can't do.
Thank you, man. Yes, sir. I was just gonna say, yeah. No, no. I was just gonna say, I'm with you, bro. Like, if I didn't have to run a business through Instagram, I would not be on there. The only social media I would have would be the podcast. I'm like you, like doing the pod is fun for me. I don't care if it ever becomes popular. I don't care if it, like there's no expectations out of it. It's just something that I enjoy doing. So I like seeing other guys like yourself that, have a similar mindset and just like enjoy it for what it is. And you're doing a fucking fantastic job on it. I listened to a couple of your other pods and they're really good, bro. Really good. Yeah. Thanks, bro. Luke. Yeah. Man, he aged like 8 years and like two. Yeah. Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at _Maine, as in the state _event 207. Talkin Mess Podcast on YouTube. That's really all I have for socials. Oh, the main event posing is my posing other business page on Instagram if you want to check that out. Or you need to book posing sessions, I do that. And other than that, yeah, that's really all I'm on. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you having me.